Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We live in a world that is always speaking. Notifications, opinions, expectations, comparisons. So much noise that we forget what our own voice sounds like. We are taught to fear being alone, as if silence is emptiness, as if solitude means abandonment. But solitude, when chosen intentionally, is not loneliness. It is listening. There comes a time in life when the loudest answers can only be heard in quiet rooms. Beyond the noise of the world, there is a conversation waiting to happen between you and your soul. Intentional solitude is not running away from people. It is returning to yourself. It is the courage to pause when the world tells you to rush. It is the bravery to disconnect when everything demands your attention. In solitude, you stop performing. You stop explaining, you stop pretending, and slowly you begin to remember who you are without applause, without approval, without comparison. Clarity does not come from chaos, it comes from stillness. When you sit alone with your thoughts, some will scare you, some will hurt you, some will heal you, but all of them will teach you. Solitude shows you what truly matters, what drains you, what nourishes you, what no longer belongs in your life. Purpose is not found in the crowd. Purpose is discovered when you finally hear what your heart has been whispering all along. In intentional solitude, you learn that peace is not the absence of people, but the presence of alignment. You stop chasing validation and start choosing intention. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop surviving and start becoming. Solitude does not make you distant from the world. It makes you clearer within it. When you return from silence, you return stronger, more grounded, more honest. You speak less, but your words carry weight. You choose better because you know yourself deeper. So do not be afraid of quiet moments. Do not rush to fill every silence. Some answers require solitude. Some healing requires distance. Some purpose reveals itself only when the noise fades. Go beyond the noise. Sit with yourself. Listen carefully. Because clarity is born in silence, and purpose grows where the soul is finally heard. Noise separates us from our inner voice. We live in a world that never stops talking. Screens glow, opinions echo, expectations collide. Everywhere we turn, something is demanding our attention, our reaction, our agreement. And slowly, without realizing it, we stop hearing ourselves. Noise is not just sound. Noise is pressure. Noise is comparison. Noise is the constant reminder of who we should be instead of who we truly are. When life is loud, we begin to live on autopilot. We react instead of reflect. We respond instead of understand. We move forward but without direction. The most dangerous noise is the one that convinces us we are too busy to sit with our own thoughts. Because clarity does not compete. It does not shout, it waits. Your inner voice speaks softly. It speaks in pauses, in discomfort, in questions you avoid answering. But when the noise of the world becomes your guide, that voice fades. You begin to confuse popularity with purpose, validation with value, business with meaning. Intentional solitude begins the moment you decide to turn the volume down. It is the moment you choose awareness over distraction. Presence over performance, truth over approval. In silence, something powerful happens. Your thoughts slow down, your emotions settle, and the voice you lost begins to return. It may not tell you what you want to hear, but it will tell you what you need to know. Noise tells you to keep going. Your inner voice asks you to check if you are going in the right direction. When you reconnect with that voice, you stop chasing every sound around you. You stop explaining yourself to everyone. You stop living in reaction. You begin to live intentionally. And once you learn to hear yourself clearly, the noise of the world loses its power over you. Because the loudest life is not the one that makes the most sound. It is the one that knows exactly why it exists. Solitude is a choice, not a punishment. We are taught quietly and constantly to fear being alone, as if solitude means rejection, as if silence means something is wrong. But solitude, when chosen intentionally, is not abandonment. It is alignment. Loneliness is being surrounded by people and still feeling unseen. Solitude is choosing to step back so you can finally see yourself. Intentional solitude is an act of courage. It is the decision to pause in a world addicted to speed, to disconnect in a world that demands constant availability. In solitude, there is no audience, no expectations to meet, no image to protect. And in that honesty, healing begins. You sit with emotions you have been avoiding. You hear questions you have been silencing. You face truths you were too busy to acknowledge. Solitude teaches responsibility. It asks you to stop blaming noise people or circumstances and start listening inward. It is in solitude that you learn you do not need constant validation to feel valuable. You do not need constant connection to feel complete. Being alone becomes a space of restoration, not isolation. You begin to understand that your worth is not measured by how needed you are, but by how aligned you feel. Intentional solitude does not disconnect you from love. It teaches you how to love without losing yourself. It strengthens your boundaries. It deepens your self-respect. It clarifies what you are willing to tolerate and what you are finally ready to release. Solitude is not where life stops. It is where life becomes intentional. And when you choose solitude instead of fearing it, you return to the world not empty, but centered. Stillness is the gateway to clarity. We believe clarity comes from answers, from conversations, from constant thinking. But clarity does not arrive in noise. It arrives in stillness. When everything around you slows down, something within you begins to rise. Stillness is uncomfortable at first, because when movement stops, truth has nowhere to hide. In stillness, you notice what you've been avoiding, the thoughts you kept busy to silence, the feelings you postponed with distractions. But stillness is not here to harm you. It is here to reveal you. Clarity is not a sudden moment of certainty. It is a gradual understanding, a quiet knowing. When you allow yourself to sit without rushing, your mind untangles itself. Your emotions settle, your intuition strengthens. You stop confusing urgency with importance. You stop mistaking pressure for purpose. Stillness teaches discernment. It helps you separate fear from instinct, noise from intuition, desire from direction. In stillness, you realize that not every thought deserves your belief, and not every emotion requires a reaction. You begin to choose responses, not impulses. Clarity grows when you create space for it. And the more you practice stillness, the clearer your decisions become. You stop asking everyone for answers. You stop doubting every choice. You start trusting the quiet confidence within. Stillness is not doing nothing. It is doing the most important thing, listening. And once you learn to honor stillness, confusion loses its grip on you, because clarity is not something you chase. It is something you allow. Silence reveals what truly matters. When the noise fades, so do many illusions. In silence, life begins to simplify itself. What once felt urgent loses its grip. What once felt small reveals its depth. Silence is honest. It does not flatter. It does not rush. It shows you what deserves your energy and what has been quietly draining it. In silence, you begin to see relationships clearly. Who listens when you speak? Who respects your boundaries? Who values your presence without needing constant access? You realize that not every connection is meant to be close. Not every invitation requires a yes. Not every expectation deserves fulfillment. Silence sharpens awareness. It teaches you that peace is not found by pleasing everyone, but by choosing wisely. In solitude, priorities rearrange themselves. Health matters more than hustle. Meaning matters more than momentum. Alignment matters more than applause. You discover that saying no is sometimes the most loving thing you can do. For yourself and for others. Silence also reveals hidden truths about purpose. You recognize which goals are yours and which were borrowed from pressure, comparison, or fear. You begin to let go without guilt, because silence teaches discernment. It gives you permission to protect what matters most. When you return from silence, your life is not fuller, it is clearer, and clarity changes everything. Purpose comes from alignment, not approval. We often search for purpose in applause, in recognition, in being seen. But purpose does not live in approval, it lives in alignment. When you are alone, there is no audience to impress, no validation to chase, only truth to confront, and that truth asks a powerful question. Does your life reflect what you believe? Purpose grows when your actions match your values, when your choices honor your inner voice. Even when no one is watching, approval is loud, alignment is quiet. Approval demands performance, alignment requires integrity. In solitude, you realize that success without alignment feels empty, and achievement without meaning feels heavy. Purpose is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters. When you stop chasing applause, you start creating impact. You choose depth over display, truth over trend, meaning over momentum, and slowly your life stops feeling scattered. You no longer need constant reassurance. You trust your direction because it is rooted in honesty. Purpose is not something you find overnight. It reveals itself as you live in alignment, step by step. And when your life aligns with your values, clarity follows naturally. Because a life lived for approval is exhausting, but a life lived in alignment is powerful. Solitude prepares you to return stronger. Solitude is not where life pauses. It is where strength is built. We often think stepping away means falling behind. But in truth, clarity is never a delay. It is preparation. In solitude, you rebuild yourself quietly, without pressure, without comparison, without noise. You learn to sit with yourself without needing distraction. You learn to trust your thoughts without needing constant reassurance. Solitude strengthens your boundaries. You stop explaining your decisions to everyone. You stop seeking permission to choose peace. You return to the world less reactive, more grounded. You speak with intention. You listen with presence. You move with confidence. Solitude teaches emotional resilience. It shows you that you can handle discomfort, uncertainty, and silence without losing yourself. And when challenges come, you respond with wisdom instead of panic. You do not return disconnected from people. You return connected to yourself. And that changes how you show up everywhere else. Solitude does not isolate you. It refines you. It teaches you to engage without losing peace, to connect without losing clarity, to love without losing self-respect. Those who have met themselves in silence do not get lost in noise again. They carry calm into chaos, purpose into pressure, clarity into confusion. And that is the power of intentional solitude. As we step back into the world, remember this: clarity is not found by adding more to your life, but by removing what no longer belongs. Silence is not empty, it is full of answers. When you choose intentional solitude, you are not withdrawing from life. You are preparing to live it with purpose. Carry the lessons of stillness with you. Protect your inner voice. Honor your boundaries. Choose alignment over approval. Return to the noise when you are ready, not to be consumed by it, but to move through it with calm and confidence. Because a person who knows themselves cannot be easily lost. And when life becomes loud again, remember this truth: you can always return to silence to find your way back home.